everybody, and welcome. And I hope you can all see us and hear us okay. I think you probably can, because according to my iPad off to the side, maybe. Oh, yes, that's still delayed. It'll come up here in a second. I hate these delays. But anyways, we are here. And we'll see who else is here. Welcome. Yep, that's working okay. So everything seems to be working all right. That's good. Okay, so hello everybody. And there may be ads, there may not be ads. If you were here last week, you know that YouTube has taken over our channels, all of us creators now, and now we have very little choice in whether or not ads will pop up, and so there may be ads come up today on the live. They did last week. Stephanie sent me something to show how she thinks she got around it on her channel, but I don't have the same settings as she does. So I don't know. We both connect to when we do our lives differently, so I don't know. And we found a new button. It says delay ads, and it had a countdown for 10 minutes, so I don't know.
I did watch something this week that told you about those, but I can't remember what that is.
Well, you're really good at that, aren't you? Whatever. It's a mystery. But anyways,
I believe it had something to do by delaying ads, but I think you still end up getting them.
Well, maybe. Well, you may get ads during today's live, and there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm sorry about that, but that has nothing to do with me.
We keep looking for a way around it, but I don't know.
I don't think there is a way around it because YouTube doesn't want us to have a way around it. So anyways, that's the problems with modern technology. So let's see who's all here. Suzanne is here. Hi, Suzanne. And Donna and Shady Susan. And Russ is here. And Tamela is here. Candace. Charlotte. Brenda Mitchell's here. And Sherry Cook. And Sue Norfleet. And Glenna. It's unusually warm. It's sunny, she says, in Missouri. And Andy's here. Hi, Andy. And Kathy Riles is here. And I hate it when it does it that way. Bonbon is here. Marilyn is here. Sue says it's a lovely sew day yesterday. My fingers are still sore from all the hand sewing I did. Yep, occupational hazard, I guess. Oh, it looks like my little thing that I changed to Nightbot is still not working properly. I don't know. It didn't come up with what I wanted it to come up with, so that figures. I'm still trying to figure that out too. Catherine says hello from New Hampshire. Mona is here. Karen B is here. Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. Mel's here. Hi, Mel. We haven't seen you in a bit. Philippa is here. Marilyn's here. Barb. Catherine, I said. Happy start to second last week before Christmas, Philippa says. And Linda is here. First time catching you two live. Enjoy your channel. Okay, well, welcome, Linda. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie is here. And let's just put in Stephanie, see if my bot will work for this. Stephanie, okay. And Have a Love is here from Wasaga Beach. Faith is here. Julie's here. She says, hello, quilter friends, and Walter too. Josie Brown is here from North Carolina. I don't think I've seen you on here before, Josie, but nevertheless, welcome. Patsy's here. Joan Reed. And yeah, I think I've caught up with everybody that's here at the moment. So welcome, everybody. Glad you could make it. So let's start off with our makes for this week. All of these are kind of a preview because I will be talking about them later on. Hello, Laurel. Hello, Kathy. So let me just get things up here on my screen. So, of course, if you've been watching Stephanie and myself opening the boxes, you saw this in there. There was a pattern for this. There was fabric provided for this. It's motif fabric. And when I first saw the package, I thought, not my color scheme, but I'm really liking these colors together. I never thought I would, but I kind of like the pink, the red, and the aqua. And anyways, I did the table runner, and I really like how it turned out. We talked about it on So Chatty the other day, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but I'm very happy with the way it turned out. And Lucy was cooperative, as you can see, for the quilting. And of course, it also had, there was leftover fabric, so you could make a pot holder. And I like it too. So these may be gifted. I don't know yet. They may be going to our next door neighbors.
If they ever respond to my email.
If they ever respond to Walter's email. We've asked them to, we gave them some dates and times, gave them a selection, and to come over for a Christmas drink. And we've told them, don't be bringing anything. Don't be bringing any gifts or anything like that. We talked a little bit about that on So Chatty too, so I'm not going to go over that again. But basically, you know, don't feel obligated to bring anything. But, you know, people do. When you invite them over for a drink or for cocktails or whatever, the charcuterie, and they bring something. So I'm not going to be caught unprepared. So if they do, I'll have a bag ready with these in the bag for them, and maybe a couple of bottles of wine as well. And this is what I call the granny bag. This was another project in the Missouri Star Quilt box.
Did you use their fabric?
I used their fabric. Oh. Both Stephanie and I said it was ugly, the fabric. But I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make it the bag anyways. And actually, I'm kind of pleased with the way it turned out. I have never done a bag that had these kind of handles in it, and I didn't take a picture of it, but those handles, there's magnetic clasps on the inside of the bag to hold those handles closed at their base. It's not a big bag. But it went together pretty easily. So actually, I think it's kind of cute. But, you know, I call it the granny bag. And then, okay, another project in the Missouri Star Quilt was to create a sweater, an ugly sweater wall hanging. And there were fabrics appropriate for ugly sweaters. It was a charm pack. And there was a template. And the idea is it's applique, right? And I didn't do it quite the way that they had the instructions. I did it on my embroidery machine. And if you're interested in how that is done, I'm going to be talking about it, actually showing you a little video clip of the process I went through to create these. Now, I've got them all done now. They're behind us on the design board. I haven't put the little wall hanger together yet, but I got all the pieces there to do it. But I'll show that when it's done. But on Tuesday, I'm going to talk about, let me get out of this. I'm going to talk about the process for digitizing this kind of thing, which can be applied to other appliques as well. So let's just catch up on what people are saying. If anybody came in while we were talking about all of that. Elsa is here. And Philippa says, hello, Stephanie and Russ. Really enjoy seeing you every day. Okay, obviously, I'm chopped liver. Yeah, right. No,
well, you just don't do all the projects.
I don't do it every day. Though they're all doing Vlogmas. I'm not doing Vlogmas. So they have a video up every day. I watch them too, Philippa. I watch Stephanie and Shannon and Russ every day. Watch their Vlogmas. Yeah, I can't keep up the pace to do that every day. I admire them for their ability to do so, though. Pamela's here. Howdy from Minnesota. Charlotte's here. Yeah, I think it turned out nice, Charlotte, the table runner as well. And thank you, Kathy. And Patsy likes it too. She says, I'm just now working on the snuggly sweater wall hanging. Yeah. And Jeff is here. Hi, Jeff. Sorry, I've been missing things lately. Been battling about a vertigo. Oh, that's too bad, Jeff. Glad to be able to be here. Never have suffered from vertigo. Have you?
I suppose occasionally, if you're really sick or something, I have. But
well, I don't think I've ever.
I do when I stand on top of a tall building.
Oh well, yeah, okay. Oops, where did everything go? It's all popping. It's comments are going by too fast. I can't keep up. Kathy Klein is here from Illinois. Welcome, Kathy. And Julie says, I really like the pink kitty and candy cane fabric in the ugly sweaters.
Everybody has had commercials.
Oh, commercials already. I haven't seen anything come up on mine though.
No.
Weird. I don't understand that. Well, the delay thing now, it looks like it stopped.
Yeah.
It stopped at 3:28.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that all about?
I don't know. There is a video.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out and see what that's all about. Yeah, okay, you guys don't have to tell me about the commercials. I know you're getting them, and I can't do anything about it, so we just have to put up with it. There's nothing we can do. Okay, thank you, everybody. I know there's a commercial coming up. You don't need to waste your typing fingers on that. Patsy says, which digitalizing program did you use for the ugly sweaters? I used a Janome product called Artistic Digitizer. And as I said, I'm going to talk more about that on Tuesday. And Julie says, I'm really enjoying the Steve and Stephanie unpacking of the Missouri Star box quilts. Lots of fun. Yeah, we had fun doing it too, Julie. Yeah, you probably are jinxing yourself, Julie, because you'll probably come through. Philippa says, Stephen, your MSQ videos with Stephanie are so enjoyable and great to see you make the projects. Yeah, I've made all the projects now, I think, that have come in the in that bag or in that box. Catherine says, have a sip of Guinness for me. I can't bear anymore and miss it. I can't have beer anymore and miss it. Oh, that's too bad, Catherine. Another life's little pleasure down the tubes. And Mona, Cynthia's here. Hi, Cynthia. It is storming in Baldwin, New York. When I get them, I just push skip so I don't miss anything. Oh, so it'll let you do that, will it, Cynthia? Well, that's a good thing. Yeah, we've had a lot of people mention that they like the way that Stephanie and I are doing the Missouri Star Quilt box thing. I have been watching other people's unboxing, even though I know what's in them now, because of course we pre-recorded all of those segments. But it's funny looking at their expressions, how, you know, some people like them, some people don't, or whatever, but everybody's got their own tastes, right? It's kind of interesting to see what other people's take are on all of these things. So anyways, what have you been working on, Walter?
I'm still making my bags and stuff.
Still making his bags. Hasn't got anything to show you.
No.
Because he's working on them. Some of the bags are secret. Can't show everything. No. Okay, so what's been happening? Well, we had Sew with Stephanie and Stephen on Wednesday. And of course, we'll have it on this coming Wednesday, as we always do. Link is in the show notes. If you've never been to one of our sew days and you're interested, and you don't have to stay for the whole day either, you know, like it's a busy time of the year right now, but I mean, if you want to drop in, you've got an hour or two you want to kill and maybe work on some of those projects you're trying to get done over Christmas, then come and join us. And everybody's got lots of really interesting things. We show and share all the time and talk about different things and enable everybody to buy things from other sites. As somebody shows something, we go, ooh, where'd you get that? Tell us more. I want it. So all are welcome. And let's see. What else? Okay, so we had a pop-up sew day on Saturday, just past Saturday. A lot more people there than I expected. I think at the height of it, we had about 30. And, you know, I debated whether I was going to have one this month. Originally, I thought, well, I could have it on December the 16th, which would be next Saturday. But I thought, well, that's maybe just a week basically before Christmas, and people might be, you know, really, really busy on that day. So have it earlier. And then I thought, maybe not have it at all. Just skip December because, you know, how many people would be available. But I didn't want to wait a whole, like, it would be over a month before the next one, because the next one won't be until sometime in January, a date to be announced on that. And so I took a chance, and yeah, I thought the turnout was pretty good. So that was surprising. So, anyways, I think we had a good day up until one little incident. So the dragon reared its ugly head and tried to get on. Now, those of you that may have never been on a pop-up sew day may not know about this, but we had an individual who came to the occasional pop-up sew day, but the last one this individual showed up on, she proceeded to insult in no uncertain terms another person on there, and we don't have that kind of thing on a pop-up sew day. We don't, it's not allowed. It's a safe space. And this person basically was picking on another person in the group. And I missed it when it actually happened.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if they planned it that way or what, but they happened to do this while Steve was not. Well, Steve was having lunch with me, so
yeah, which I was out of the room.
He was out of the room, so so he didn't find out about it until other people started complaining that it had occurred.
Yeah, but I didn't know until the next day. And I got a couple of emails from people who had attended that letting me know about the situation and what had happened. And if I had been there, I would have put the kibosh on it immediately. But essentially, this person, I did write to her. I wrote to both people. I wrote to the person that had been badly hurt by this and, apologized for that, even though it wasn't my doing, but, said, don't take it to heart. This person is just a crackpot. Don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong or anything like that. And I wrote to the person, the guilty party who had done all of this, and the answer I got was basically there was no apology, nothing. This person didn't feel she had done anything wrong because in her mindset she was absolutely right, everybody else was absolutely wrong, and we should obey her rules. Well, there's only one sandbox and I own it when it comes to my pop-up days, and those of you that have been there, you know what I'm talking about. So I told her, well, you're not welcome again. We don't allow that kind of behavior. Well, guess what? She tried to get on yesterday. Now, one of the other people on there, Jan, haven't seen Jan yet if she's here today or not, but I usually make Jan co-host when we're on together because Jan's usually a regular and she knows how to run the system. And if I get busy doing something and someone wants to get in, then she lets them in. And she says, oh, you better handle this one. Well, all it was a couple of initials and a number. Now, I thought it was somebody else actually because there was another person who sometimes comes on and she doesn't have her name at first because she's not sure yet how to change it so it'll be her name, and I usually change it for her. And I thought that was who the person was until I saw her. And then as soon as I saw her, I got rid of her because I knew this was, the gall. So I got rid of her, and in Zoom, you can remove somebody, and I thought when you remove somebody, they could not get back in. Well, she changed her initials to her name and tried to get back in. The problem is she had the same first name as another person who had been there earlier, had gone off for a while, but was coming back. And so I couldn't tell which one it was without letting them in. So I let her in, and immediately I saw, nope, that's not the one I want to let in. So I cut her off again and did a remove. She tried a third time using the same name though. And I thought, well, wait, Zoom tells me that if I remove them, they can't get back in. But she's trying to get back in. So I removed her again. And she didn't try. I don't think she may have tried a fourth time. I removed her again. And she didn't try after that as well. I wasn't going to engage her. I wasn't going to have a conversation and say to her, you're not welcome here. What are you doing? No, that would have been drama. I mean, I'm sure it would have been entertaining, but not the kind of entertainment we want on a pop-up sew day. So anyways, I did do some research about Zoom, and apparently what I did was the right thing to do. It should, according to Zoom, that should have stopped her from trying to get back in. But it didn't. But then again, I'm thinking maybe there's a time delay. of when I hit that, when the system recognizes it or something, because all of these things were very quick. They were all within like 2 minutes of the time period kind of a thing. So anyways, we don't allow that kind of behavior on Pop-Up So Day.
Yeah, it's sort of like, if somebody's on Zoom and somebody's bothering you or something like that, then you should be talking to the moderator.
Yes.
Or something that there's something that you don't like or something like that. But other than that, you should be polite to everybody else that's on the Zoom.
And everybody has been up until that point.
Until this point.
Just this one nut job out there. That's what she is. She's a nut job and a bitch. Okay? So I don't have any room for nut jobs and bitches. They get removed. It upset me yesterday when this happened. Because I thought the gall that this woman had. And the person that she had attacked on that day was there as well. So even more reason why, well, I wasn't letting her in no matter what anyways, but I didn't want to, bring up trauma for this other person.
Yeah, I know. So people should realize that, if you're going to do something nasty on a Zoom, then there is a possibility that you might not be able to get back, that the moderator may decide not to allow you back in if you cause a disruption.
Well, in my case, you're never getting back in. Somebody said to me, but they didn't understand the situation at the time about what's going on. Well, second chances. No, this person had a second chance. Her second chance was her to make apology, a genuine apology, and that. No, she didn't do that. That was her second chance, as far as I'm concerned, when I wrote her the email explaining the situation to her.
And she basically sort of said, no, she was right. And
everybody else was wrong.
Everybody
had to live to her standards, which aren't that high, about it. She was offended because somebody was eating while they were on the Zoom. We all do. We're having a beer.
Technically, if you're in a business meeting, in a business, right, eating something on a Zoom is considered not something that you should do, right? But this isn't a business meeting. This is a casual get-together, right? I mean, if you were to go to an in-person retreat and walked around a room, people would be eating something at any point in time in the day. And,
munching,
everybody
snacking.
does that. If you were in a room with a bunch of people having a so day, that would happen as well. So, and a lot of times when you're on camera, you tend to end up doing things without realizing, that other people can see you type of thing. So that isn't, there was nothing in our rules that said you couldn't eat while you were.
No, I do it myself too. I mean, and it wasn't like somebody was sitting there eating and like with their mouth open, spewing food all over the place, making rude noises and stuff. No. People are, generally speaking, are conscious of the fact that there are other people there. No, she just had a thing about it. It was part of her. I don't want to get into her ethnic background, but it was a cultural thing as well. And I don't care. My sandbox, my rules. And anybody who wants to eat, go ahead.
If she had a problem with something like that, then she should have brought it up maybe to Steve.
Privately
and say, she didn't like that or something like that. I mean, you would probably still responded the same way.
Well, I would have said to her, well, I'm sorry you don't like that, but, that's the way it is.
Look away, right?
Yeah, look away. Like, we're not all here for you kind of a thing. It's not all about you. But she apparently didn't understand the philosophy of that. But I mean, the gall to try and come back on. So no embarrassment on her part. No regret, the whole bit. Just no remorse. Really, she hurt another human being's feelings, harshly so. And nope, not allowed on Pop-Up So Days. I'm sorry, it's a safe place, drama-free. So she's gone, and I hope she doesn't rear her ugly head again. And if by chance she should, and the stuff I'm doing is not working to get rid of her, then I'm going to contact somebody at Zoom. And I'm going to say, look, I have this problem with a person. How can I permanently remove them so they can never get onto one of my Zoom meetings? Kind of a thing. So we'll see how that works out right now. So people are having discussions here. Oh, Melissa's here. Hi, Melissa. And Deb is here. Mozilla. Thanks for the so day. Thanks for the so day guts. I pulled my cord on my iPad to move to a comfy chair and the battery went dead. Didn't get to say thank you, and bye-bye. Okay, well, it happens. Do a live from the retreat, Melissa says. Well, yeah, we're going to attempt to. We'll see how much success we have. I'm not really sure how great the internet connection is where we're going, but Stephanie and I have been talking about doing this. And as you know, we have some YouTube creators that'll be on the retreat as well. So we were thinking of us together doing a live about it all. So there'll be something. We will definitely try to do something. A quilt police, Catherine says. No, she wasn't quilt police. She's just an ignorant bitch. That was all she was.
Or are you referring to Stephen as quilt police?
I don't know. I'm not sure what Catherine means.
The same goes for people that have YouTube channels. There are people that make nasty comments to the creators about something on a YouTube channel, and creators can ban you if they don't like what you have to say. So,
well, I was going to come to that in a second. You've preempted me. But I'm not sure what Catherine means, a quilt police, if you're referring to the person who was disruptive or not. Barb says, it's almost like this participant waited for you to be out of the room before she pounced. Well, other people have said that too, but I don't give her credit for having that much intelligence, because that would take some planning. And I don't think she was planning this. I think what it was for her was an instinctual gut reaction to something that she didn't like. She didn't like people eating on there. And she wasn't taking into consideration that this wasn't her home. This wasn't, she wasn't in control.
But when you said that she waited for you, like I said, waited for you to be off camera, I would have thought earlier that day, there would have been people having something to eat, like a coffee and a cookie or something.
Oh yeah,
like
I was.
I was. So why didn't she pounce on somebody then? So
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Why she picked on this one individual? Because she wasn't doing anything any different from anybody else. No. So there was. I don't know. Maybe she just that caught her eye. I don't know. I don't pretend to understand the inner workings of a crazy person's mind, okay? Because you have to be crazy to understand them.
Yeah, well, I thought you'd be able to understand.
Oh, you're so funny. No, you're not. Eat me. Heather's here. Hi, Heather. Did I say nice to see you? Well, you can see us. We can't see you. Cynthia, same thing. Cynthia says, the same thing happened to our knitting Zoom. Well, yeah, and we're going to mention a few little things about this in a minute, about this whole world that we now live in that has, the ability to be able to do what we're doing right now and Zooms and things like that. But we'll save that for a minute. I just want to catch up here on what people are saying. Philippa says, thank you for being so diligent. She was very unpleasant previously. Yes, she was. Stephanie says, I gleefully ate my lunch right on camera yesterday. Yep. Well, I always have something too. It's fine. Bonbon's here. That's a miserable person and misery loves company if we let them. Yeah, exactly. Bonbon. Juice says, maybe if we'd all worn white gloves and held our pinkies out, that would have been fancy enough for her. No, I don't know what would have been.
No, it's
we are trying to avoid saying what her nationality is and everything, because it's going to make us seem like we're prejudiced, and it's not the kind of prejudice you might instantly think of in your brain. Okay. It's probably someone from she's Dutch. Okay. I will let the Dutch descendant here tell you why this is not so unusual from a Dutch person. And sorry if some of you are Dutch descendant and you don't do this. Good for you. You tell them. Tell
I
them
don't
what.
know. Some people, sometimes people in Holland, anyway, had a tendency to be voice their opinion that they didn't like something quite in public to people. I mean, give an example. When I was about 10, I was walking with my dad down the sidewalk in Holland, and I was sort of dragging my feet, right? So a woman very abruptly came up to us, passing me by, and said, basically yelled at me not to drag my feet. And my dad immediately sort of told her off. It wasn't her business, right? But
And his dad is Dutch. Was
is
Dutch.
Dutch, but he had lived in Canada
Yeah.
for long enough to know that people just don't do that. And he said, I remember at the time, he says, "Oh, I'd forgotten how abrupt people can be here about, things that they don't like." And I remember when I was in Holland, I'd hear that once in a while. People would come up to you, and people would come up to people and say things that they didn't like about the person right to their face, right? So, or about what they did or something.
So you see, in this case here, she was used to doing that. Okay. But she lives in Canada. Okay. She lives out west Canada. I don't know how long she's been to Canada, in Canada. I have no idea. But obviously she still carries over. Well, you're a product of where you were brought up, right? And what is normal in your cultural background does not always apply or translate the same in another cultural background, i.e., she's Dutch. Maybe in Holland, this is something that's fairly common. People are used to it. Nobody gets their knickers too much in a knot. In Canada, we're not used to that. That's something a little different. So we consider it extremely rude.
You may think something in Canada about something like, oh, it's rude that they're eating in front of us or something like that, but you wouldn't say it. Right?
No, you wouldn't say it.
I know in Holland, and too, I don't know if it's still this way, but years ago it was very, people didn't like people eating things with their fingers or with their picking up food.
Like French fries.
Like French fries or ribs or chicken wings or things like that, right? So, and my mother always used to say those people were very prim and proper.
Yeah. Well, they think they are.
They thought they were, yeah.
So basically, that's so, but I'm not making an excuse for her because I'm sorry. If we were in a different country and, we've traveled a lot around the world and every culture has their ways. You don't rock the boat in another culture. You absorb it, you follow suit, you don't get involved with that kind of thing. And that's what most sane, I think, and common sense people do. Well, she's not saying she doesn't have common sense. But anyways, we'll get away from her now. Andy says, glad I wasn't there because I prefer horses and dogs to people. I probably would have said something that would have made the lady leave the zoo, and I probably wouldn't have felt bad about it. And Andy, I would have appreciated you making the comment. The only thing, and I think there were other people of the same mind as what you've just stated as well, but I think for my sake and for the atmosphere of the whole day, when that actual event happened, I don't think they wanted to say anything because they didn't want to start something up, and I can understand that. Okay, and I appreciate people thinking of it that way. But yeah, if I had been there and saw it then, I would have said something in no uncertain terms. But I could get away with it because I'm the moderator. I'm the one that controls the group. And it's my job as moderator to make things are going along smoothly. So, you see, but I wasn't there. So maybe she did plan it. But who knows? Dana's here. Hi, Dana. Your Missouri Star box opening part 2 was fun to watch this morning. Glad you got a kick out of it. Philippa says, there were lots of other people eating, but you chose to pick on one person. Yeah, but I think you mean she as in the you. You don't mean me, right, Philippa? Bombo says, let her back in and we can all eat a bit. Yeah, we've gone through that already, Bombo. And people have had all kinds of ideas to how to get back at her. And yeah, as much as I would like to do that, we can't do that. That's not appropriate, okay? That reduces the whole atmosphere of what I've had there that I'm trying to maintain and create. Something that's pleasant, conducive.
You don't want to bully a bully back, right?
Yeah. The worst thing you can do is bully a bully. Okay. The best thing for handling a bully is to ignore them completely, because that's why they're bullies. They want to be the center of attention. So you don't let them have that opportunity. Julie says there are a lot of countries where it's considered bad manners to eat while walking in a public space. That's true. And that's fine. And so you would follow suit if you're not from that country, right? Elsa says, that's funny. I was going to say Dutch. I'm Dutch and I know how the Dutch can be. Yep. It's not to say all Dutch people are that way. That's not my point. My point, though, is that she has a cultural bend that allowed her to feel that what she was doing was right. And she was wrong. So let's move on away from that one, okay? We spent way too much time talking about that. Okay, so people have been talking about the box openings and of the MSQ that Stephanie and I have been doing, and other people have been doing too as well. And I really appreciate, we've had a lot of nice comments that they like the format that Stephanie and I are doing it in. We do 5 at a time. So we've had 10 of the gifts now open. We started on December 5th. Today was the second opening. The next one's on December 15th, then the 20th, and then on Christmas Day, the 25th. Of course, we pre-recorded all of these, so we know already what's in those boxes and that kind of thing. But our reactions are genuine, and it's nice to play off of each other rather than just doing it as a solo, because, you know, Stephanie and I kind of have the same tastes in a lot of things we have found, but we have differences too. So I think it makes it kind of interesting for people to see, like, reactions. I've been watching some of the other people that have been opening up the Missouri Star quilt box. And there's one YouTube creator, Amy Demont. I interviewed her a few weeks ago. And I love the looks on her face when she sees something. She will not come right out and say, God, this is stupid. Why the hell was it in the box? But her face says it at times. So, and I love watching her reactions, because you know from her face exactly how she's feeling about it. And there's a few others too that do sort of that same thing, like Chris O'Neill as well. She's doing them too. And I like watching other people's reactions to it. So I'm glad everybody else is enjoying those kind of things. If you notice behind me, I have 2 new banners. One of my subscribers and one of the guys that comes on the Men's Sew Day, he made those for me. Because the ones I had there before, remember, they had a bit of a wrinkle and they were a bit too long for that space as well. And when he heard me say that, he said he had the ability to be able to create me new ones. And so he did. And they're great. I love them. They fit right there. They look good. And don't have to worry about bumping. Well, I didn't have to worry about bumping my head on them before. Walter might, if that's why, scrape off some of his hair. Because I'm not tall enough. Now there's Walter. They think you're a giant.
Well, compared to you, I am.
You are not. You're no giant. Cripes. I look you right in the neck. That's not a problem. Heads above me. Not really. But anyways, so yeah. So I thank Lance for those. It's great. I'm loving them. He did a really nice job. So we're getting excited about Georgia. We only have, let's see, we leave on Christmas Day. So that means we've got, what, today's 10th? 20 days? 20 days when we start the big journey down to Georgia. I'm a little anxious about it. Not about the retreat itself. That's going to be a ton of fun. I'll be really honest. Americans scare me. I don't want to drive through your country. I'm sorry. You know, as you know nothing about our country because, you know, there's nothing above the 49th parallel according to your television, your news and your weather and things like that. We're just a big blob north of you. We know way too much about you, and none of it is good. Okay. Not saying that, you know, we know where we get the information from, right? The media, and the media spins everything. You know, they love to talk about scandal and who's killing who and all that kind of stuff. And we have to take it with a grain of salt. But we haven't been down into the States. When was the last time we went to the States? When we went to Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah, well, it would be about 10 years ago.
Yeah. And 10 years ago, you didn't have the political situation that you have there now and the whole bit. It scares me that we are going down into territory where people can legally carry guns. You know?
Actually, it's about 9 years ago, but anyway.
Okay, whatever. You know, where it's I'm sure most of it is in my head, but nevertheless, you know, a little apprehensive. Also apprehensive about the fact that it is 1,500 kilometers, and it's not that we haven't been further than that driving, but the time of the year, like, we could be buried in snow. Right now, we've got none where we are, but there are parts of our province that do have snow right now, and that kind of thing. And I know we're heading south, so things will, of course, be a little nicer. And then Tennessee just had a
wild storm with
wild hurricane and stuff like that.
Not hurricanes.
Well, I thought it was a tornado, whatever. A big air, whatever. But you see, those are kind of, well, they're kind of foreign to us. Although we have had tornadoes, but not exactly where we live, but not that far from us, but nothing like what you have down in the Midwest of the United States and that kind of thing. So, and it could be my age. Everything makes me paranoid anymore. So, I'm not a young fellow. But anyways, we are looking forward to it. It's going to be a little strange traveling on Christmas Day, but it's not like we haven't been at home on Christmas Day before. Mm-hmm. There's been several times over the years. So anyways, it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting together with Stephanie again. And of course, meeting for the first time live the other creators that are going as well. And of course, the other people that are going to the retreat too. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about going to Walmart and looking for spray cheese.
Julie says, none of it. I can find that province on a map in Canada.
Yeah.
None of it is not a province.
No, none of it is not a province. It's a territory, and we'll have none of it. Thank you very much in Canada. Yeah. There's nothing really there in none of it. Yeah. Do you want to go on a nice quiet vacation? Go to none of it. I don't even know if they have roads.
They have some.
Oh, well, roads. They must have something to get in there. But there's not much.
They have a few frozen roads, too.
Yeah, there's not much there. Let's see, so catching up here. Stupid ads, Melissa says, yep. Say, says Melissa, it scares her too. Yeah, Kath says there were lots of tornadoes yesterday. Yes, we saw it on the news. Deb says it was so cold in Peoria yesterday. Was thinking I should have bought my parka. Where's Peoria? I've heard of it. Where is that, Deb? Is that in BC? Because Deb, I think, is from BC.
Yeah.
So, Russ says, many years ago, there was a tornado 1.5 miles from my house. It was frightening, but not as frightening as the time we had a tornado 20 feet from our trailer. Yeah. Hello. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
We did have a bad windstorm a year and a half ago.
What? We had a microblast.
Yeah, we had a microblast, and I saw the shingles coming off the roof across from us.
Yeah. No, Julie, the Northwest Territories and the Yukon are not provinces. They are territories. Yeah. Francis says, please don't let the media color your thoughts on weapons. I could carry a concealed weapon in Nevada if I take a certified class. There are more carrying safely than anyone else realizes. Yeah, Francis, what you have to understand is in Canada, it is not legal to have a weapon, concealed or otherwise. You can have a license to have a hunting gun, like duck hunters, game hunters, that kind of thing. But no,
the average person is
not allowed to have a gun in this country. That is completely foreign to us. I mean, we do have a problem with guns in Canada. They are smuggled in across the border by criminals, thugs, the whole bit. And yes, we have shootings in Toronto every day. Every day. That's all you hear on the news is about that. But it is still a foreign concept to us as well. So, yeah. Melissa says, not much in none of foot.
None of it.
None of it. No, yeah, okay.
None of foot.
I'm missing, I think it's supposed to be funny. I'm not getting the joke, but whatever. Yeah, Deb's from BC, that's what I thought. None of it. Yeah, it's none of it. That's what we say. Yeah, we'll have none of it. There is one in New York, Illinois, Ohio. There is one what? I'm missing the thread. There is one in New York, Illinois, Ohio.
One of what?
One of what? I don't understand. Yeah, you guys have to realize when you write comments, you understand what you're writing, and it may be picking up on a thread further above, but the stuff scrolls by so far, and there are possibly 3 different threads of conversation or 4 going on that we get lost. So sorry. It's not that we're making fun of you or anything like that. We're trying to follow the line of discussion, but if you do not, fill us in on what you're talking about, we haven't got a bloody clue. Tornadoes were scary in Tennessee. A good friend of ours' home is still standing, but his next door neighbor's is gone. Yeah, I mean, they're horrible. States listed up here in each of... Oh, okay. It's sort of like, I guess, like Springfield.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Springfield in almost every state of the United States?
There's Peoria. There's all kinds all over the place. They did a search on Google and there's all kinds of them.
Oh, okay.
So the Peoria that Mozilla's referring to is probably
in BC.
Yeah, probably in BC.
I would assume she meant BC for that. So whatever. That's why the Simpsons apparently live in Springfield but you don't know what state the Simpsons are living in. They don't identify it because I had read somewhere that there's a Springfield in every state of the United States. Whether that's true or not, I'm not absolutely sure. Oh, wait. She's in Arizona. Oh, okay. Yeah. Whatever. All right. Let's move on from that, shall we? Did we get bogged down on where these places are? But anyways, yeah. We're a little anxious. Walter's afraid he'll fall asleep while he's driving. Actually, it's not that bad because we've broken it up into 5. What,
all fall asleep while driving?
Yeah.
No, not me.
Oh, I guess I'm afraid that you'll fall asleep.
You'll fall asleep.
Oh, no, I'll be watching the road going, did you see that curb? There's a rabbit. Did you see that? There's a turnoff over there. Look, there's another car. It's coming along beside us. Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? And then he'll tell me to fuck off. So there you go. Pardon my lingo. It's only 5, we're doing it in 5-hour stretches, basically.
I mean, the longest I've ever driven, now that was about 9 years ago, is 11 hours in one stretch. So,
yeah. Kathy says there's not a Springfield in Delaware. Okay. So there goes that theory. I don't know if there is a Peoria in Canada. I'm not sure, Melissa.
Yeah, there's one in Alberta.
Oh, is there? Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
There's a Toronto in Australia.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Just north of Sydney.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Bonbon says, Steve, what machine are you using now? I'm thinking about going from a 15,000 to an M17. Wonder if it's easier to load the hoop with the design change. Okay, first of all, I wouldn't buy an M17, and here's why, and you've heard me say it before. I have never used an M17. I would hope that Janome had learned from their mistakes with the 15,000. I don't have a 15,000 anymore, and if you've watched all my videos about that, you will know why. With it, I traded it in. I got an M7 sewing machine, and I got a separate embroidery machine, a 550E. The reason I don't recommend the M17 is it's a lot of hype for something that they have two things that they tell you. Actually, three things I think they tell you about the M17 that makes it different from any other of their machines. One, it has the largest hoop they claim on the market. I'm not so sure about that. I think Bernina, did they come out with a new machine or something?
No, I think it's
There was another
I
company.
think the was Brother ones or whatever have one of the
One
largest
special.
hoops, yeah.
But that's what Janome tells you. Okay, big hoop, great. But the reason they're telling you they have a huge hoop is because they're suggesting to you, and this is point number 2, that you can quilt a quilt on your embroidery machine. I'm sorry. There may be some out there that want to argue this point with me. Then you prove it. You send me a video of you quilting a queen size quilt on an embroidery machine, and I'll eat my words. And that you have no problems doing that.
Well, an edge-to-edge design.
Yeah, an edge-to-edge design. Yeah. But even if they're trying to do blocks,
yeah.
It's still, well, it might be doable. But you see, what they're saying is because they got this big hoop, you can now put your quilt in there. And that means you don't need to go out and buy an expensive long arm or a thing. Of course, mind you, when the M17 first came out, the price was $26,000 Canadian. It has considerably dropped now. I think it's what, around 15?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the list price, but the sale price is around
15,000 now for it. The other thing too is this: combination machines. Okay, they're using some of the same components, like the timing and all that stuff of the sewing machine part, but they both run differently, different speeds, different calibration. So when you have the timing go on your machine, whether it goes when you're using the embroidery machine or it goes while you're using the sewing machine, the fact is it only has one mechanism for that. And so if your embroidery machine part goes down, you can't sew either. And if your sewing machine part goes down, you can't embroider either. And even if they don't go down and everything's working fine for you, hopefully you've got a second sewing machine, because while you're doing an embroidery project, if you don't have a second sewing machine to carry on with a sewing job that you want to do, you can't. And anybody who has an embroidery machine knows that they take a long time to do a substantial embroidery job. If you're just going to put initials on a towel, that takes minutes.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've got a couple of my embroideries for the bag take 3 to 4 hours to do. So
yeah, so you're kind of screwed with that if you don't have a second machine. I would not buy the M17. What I would do is, if you've got that kind of money that you want to spend on an embroidery machine, I would suggest you buy a sewing machine and a standalone embroidery machine like the 550E. Because combination machines are going to give you problems. You know, it's kind of that old adage, you know. What's it called?
Well, I guess the other thing is that the M17 has the stitch regulator.
I can't think of the thing about master of none. What's that expression?
I don't know.
No, but a master of none. There, everybody knows, fill in the blank with it, that kind of thing. So, what was it you just said?
No, they also boast that it has a stitch regulator.
Oh, that was the third point. Yeah, it has a stitch regulator, which sounds glorious as well. But what I've heard from people, I've never used a stitch regulator except the one that's built into my long arm, of course. And what I have heard from people who have stitch regulators on their machines, and there are many, like Bernina has a stitch regulator on some of their models, and now Janome's got it on the M8, and of course on the M17, and I think they may have it on another machine as well, another model. That they're great when you first use them, but you get to the point where if you do enough enough quilting on your domestic machine, you get into the rhythm and you don't need the stitch regulator anymore.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's what it is. Jack of all trades, master of none. So that's what the M17 is, I think. So yeah, that's just my personal opinion. It is based on my experience with a 15,000 and other things. And yeah, if I was to go out again tomorrow, I don't care what the machine is, I will not buy a combination machine. I think you're just asking for failure when you do that.
Especially if you're a heavy user.
Yeah. I mean, if you're only going to occasionally embroider the odd towel or put somebody's initials on the pocket of a shirt or something, well, you probably could get away with it. But if you're doing some heavy-duty stuff, and I do heavy-duty stuff, as you well know, no. Probably not the answer you're looking for, Bun Bun, but that's my honest opinion. Deb says, doesn't the East in the U.S. get more ice storms?
Yeah, I think the middle part of America gets more ice storms because that's where the warm air and the cold air hit each other. So they don't tend to get as much snow, but they do tend to get a lot of ice. Rain.
Yeah. It's weather. What can you do about it? So in fact, the reason what we're going to, our first night will be in Windsor, is because we're going to cross over there in Windsor. Instead of the closer crossing for us would be go to Niagara Falls. That's only 2 hours away, and cross over there to the Buffalo side. But the problem is the way that we're situated on the lake and the lake effect, what it has on snow and that. Buffalo could get snowed in. We could have nothing on our side, but we'd have to drive through that part of it. Whereas it's less of a chance. It could happen at Windsor too, Windsor and Detroit, but it's not as likely. So,
and technically, if I were to go through Buffalo to get to the I-75 on the way down, it's 100 kilometers further than going through Windsor.
So it's more out of our way in that way too. So Catherine says, I'm so delighted to hear that. I never thought about dual use machines. Yeah. That's how they tote them. That's how they market them. And I'll tell you one thing about Janome as well. You want to make sure that you have a local dealer, someone you can get to pretty readily when you have a problem. Because if you buy your machine from, say, on Amazon or a big box store or someplace that doesn't service them, for one thing, it's the other thing to make sure, we've talked about that before, make sure that where you get it, you can readily get servicing for them. Because you can't contact Janome's head office or anybody at Janome. The answer you will get, you'll even have a hard time finding a phone number to get through to them. And believe me, Walter has tried. And if you were able to contact somebody at Janome, this is the answer they will give you. Contact your local dealer. See your local dealer. They even put that in print on everything. They do not want to deal with you at all. And you can jump up and down and scream and hold your breath until you're blue and the whole bit, and they will not. They will not. And from what I'm hearing, pretty much most of the manufacturers of sewing machines are the same. So make sure you buy, wherever you buy is from somebody who is local and can service your machine locally as well.
Because if you have a problem, you need a good dealer to help you out with that.
Mm.
Because if you have a big problem with one of your sewing machines, that really does help. Like, I mean, when I had the problem with the embroidery machine earlier, and which was my own doing, I fell on it.
Sat on this machine.
And broke off a part that was $5 part, right? And I was lucky that my local quilt store took it. They had a reputable service guy, and they were able to get my part
pretty quick. And, well, I told Walter, though, he could avoid the problem. You have to take your pants off before you embroider something on them. You can't be wearing them. But he didn't believe me. Catherine says, is Janome from the States? No and yes. Janome is a Japanese company, but it is hard to determine
Janome
where
is
they make them.
actually there was a company that was originally from the United States that a Japanese company took over, and the company in the United States was called New Home Sewing Machines. And Janome took over that company, and Janome was from Japan and has redeveloped the industry with them. And is based out of Japan now, is Janome, and they also took over Elna sewing machines. So any of the Elna sewing machines that you buy today are also manufactured by Janome. But Janomes are manufactured all over the world.
Yeah, like most of the things. I don't think there's a. I don't know if there's any sewing machine companies that are exclusively made in the United States. Brother's not. Brother is a
Also a
Japanese
Japanese
company.
company.
Husqvarna Viking are
I think there may still be they were Husqvarna Viking. I think are
Swedish, aren't they?
Swedish, but they're manufactured all over the
Right.
world as well.
Singers are.
Singer is part of the Husqvarna
Oh, is
Viking,
it?
yeah.
Okay. With it. So yeah, nothing's made anymore in any of our countries. It's made all over the world. Things, the part here, part there. Even the featherweights of the singers that everybody finds very desirable. Depending on the one you may get your hands on, some of the parts may have been made in Scotland, some in England, and some I think in Germany as well. And there's different ways about it. I mean, anybody who has a featherweight and does research about that probably knows better than I do because I haven't looked into it all. But that's the things that I have read about them.
Mel says Husqvarna is Swedish.
Yeah, so it still is. Um, Carol says Bernina's the same way. You can't contact them easily. It's a real problem when the local dealer will not address an issue. Yes, and you've heard me say that many times. When you're looking for a machine, especially if you're somebody who's never had really a sewing machine before, when you walk into a dealership, into a quilt store or a sewing place or whatever that's selling them, and they say they're an authorized dealer or whatever, that's not the whole story. They may be an authorized dealer, but what's their customer service like? If you walk into the store and you say, I'm looking for a sewing machine, the first question they should ask you is, what do you want to do with it? And if you say, I'm going to do quilts, and they'll say, okay, well, these particular models are good for that. And then they should sit down and go through all of the features and everything and the price, and they shouldn't be trying to upsell you on something you don't need, because sewing machines have lots of buzzers and bells, and the more you pay for them, the more they have. But sometimes you don't need any of those. Like, for example, how many people have used all the decorative stitches on whatever sewing machine that they have? My sewing machine has something like a couple of hundred.
I've used a lot of them.
But have you used them all?
No.
So there you go. Now work out the price per one on that. Nobody uses that. And there's other features on most sewing machines too that you might use once every blue moon, but the dealer may make you sound like, oh, it's a must have. Really, you've got to have that. Think of your dishwasher if you have one. How many of the different settings on your dishwasher do you use on a regular basis? I use 2, although mine has many more settings than that. And all those settings cost you money as well. And a dealer wants to sell it to you.
Sometimes you can't, but if you want a premium machine, sometimes a lot of those items come with that.
But that's not what I'm saying. You missed the point. The point is the salesperson is trying to push the upper end when you may not need the upper end. And if you're somebody that has not that much experience buying one of these machines, you may be sucked into it, paying more money than what you need to spend to suit your purposes. And our dealer, for example, when I first went in to get a sewing machine and I knew nothing, I moved my hand and the thing popped up. When I first went in, I said to her, I want a new sewing machine. And I was just starting to get into quilting. Like, I hadn't done much of anything at all. And she says, okay, what do you want to do with it? And I said, I think I want to make quilts. And she says, what's your budget? And I told her, and she says, I have several machines in that price range that do this and that. And she took me through each one. She did not rush me through the process. She talked about each of the features on the machine, and answered all of my questions. And I've never looked back. And I have bought several machines. We both have, from the same, it's our local quilt store. Whereas I've heard other people walk in and the people don't even want to deal with it. Yeah, that one's on sale, buy it and go away. So it's important. It's a big investment. Deb says, that's the one thing I miss working in the quilt shop I did. My boss was a Janome dealer, plus she took repair training. I had fast access to Janome for parts of my machines. Yes, our dealer, the owner of the shop, she is certified as a technician too. She's taken courses.
Yeah, unlike many appliances, sewing machines are ones that you need to have a repair service for. It's sort of like buying a car.
Yeah. Bombo says, do you like the way the hoop loads in comparison to the older machines to the back?
We haven't really looked at the M17 because we've already decided that we don't like the combo machines. So really, we can't compare the M17 to the 15,000.
No. The 15,000 had it loaded from the side once you had the unit onto it. And so does the 550E. The hoop locks in here closest to the where your control panel
is.
Like
the arm on the 550E is a dedicated embroidery machine. So the arm isn't attached. It's always attached, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the one on the 15,000, it was a unit that clipped onto the back, right? Yeah. And I think the M17, it's a unit that clips to the side.
Yeah, it slides onto it somehow.
So I don't know. We don't know. We haven't investigated it as to how it works. The M17 is actually a huge machine and it's very heavy.
Yes.
It's not portable.
You're not taking that with you to a retreat or to a class.
The M7 is not very portable either.
So. The M7 weighs 48 pounds. And so that's why I have a secondary machine that goes with me like to a retreat or to a class. It's a Skyline S7, and it's a lighter model of machine, smaller machine, more portable with it. And it's also a good sewing machine. I like that sewing machine as well. It works well. But it's a single machine. It's not a combination, as I said. It doesn't do embroidery. Now, there is an S9, Skyline S9 Janome, that is a combination machine as well. It does. You don't hear much about it, though.
Yeah, it doesn't have very big hoops.
Though. No, it doesn't have as big a hoops as the
M17 the big, the hoop, the largest hoop on the 550E that we have is 7.9 by 14 inch.
Yeah. It's a big hoop.
It's a decent size hoop.
And I find I seldom use a hoop that size. The one I use the most is probably, I use the 20B, which is square, and I use the 28B. But the 28B did not come with the machine. We had to buy that hoop separately. And I use that a lot, too, with it. So it was a good investment because buying these hoops, oh, look, we're getting an ad right now. Ain't that nice? The hoop, the 28B, was about what, $200?
It's around $200. Actually, I found one that's a knockoff on Amazon that they recently sold for $85.
Oh, geez. I'd be suspicious, but maybe not.
The one I have is a knockoff. It's not.
Oh, is it?
It's not originally Janome. And actually, other than the fact that the color is slightly differently, it's exactly the same as Janome.
Okay, so there's that too. But, you got to go in, you got to test drive them. You've got to figure out, first of all, does it fit into your budget? Does it do what you want it to do? And all the other things. There's a lot of factors involved in buying a decent sewing machine of any sort. Catherine says, what about your Lucy? My Lucy, if you're asking where it's made, it is made in the United States as an APQS machine. It is all made from right down to the last component is all American made, and it is built by hand as well for it. That's one of the things that they pride themselves on. And yeah, they're a good machine.
They're a very what I would call basic machine as far as machines go.
Well, but all long arms are pretty basic.
Yeah.
Like, what would you expect? Okay, maybe you might have electronic channel locks. Like,
No. What I'm saying is that it's just a very basic sewing type style machine compared to the electronic machines of the Janome.
Well, yeah, because you don't have decorative stitches, all that kind of stuff.
No, it's just a straight stitch type sewing
because
machine.
That's what they're built for.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, so less to go wrong, basically on it. Mel says, is it now about 6 to 7 years when you started quilting? Still remember the first things you made? I started quilting in 2017. When were we going off to Australia? That would have been the second.
2016. No, 2016. We were there for 2015, 2016.
That was the first trip.
Yeah.
But it was the second trip.
Yeah.
Which was 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when I first started quilting at that time. So it's, I've been telling people it's been 5 years, it's been longer than that. How time has flown? It's like 6 years. So yeah, 6 years. Yeah, Mel. Jean says, I bought the 9850 from Costco 3 years ago, my first sewing machine. I had no clue what it was or what I was doing. I'm a light sewer, but I read the manual over and over and figured it out. Yeah, well, the 9850 is a good machine.
Yeah, but have you had any problems with it? Where would you take it if you had a problem with it?
Yeah, because you bought it at Costco. And
I mean, you're lucky that you haven't had any problems with it, obviously.
Yeah. Well, she says she's a light sewer too. Yeah. So, that kind of thing. She says, it's been fun. I just made my mom a stocking and embroidered her name on the cuff. Oh, the 9850, that one's the new combo too.
No, it's not new. It's an old combo, and it has smaller hoops too.
Oh, okay. But yeah.
9850 has been around for a long time.
We know how to pronounce it, Betty. We are Canadian. Okay. We were making fun of it. Lighten up, hun. And Catherine says, I want to get a Millie. Yeah, Millie's nice, but I have Lucy. And the only difference between a Millie and a Lucy, they're both the same throat size, but the Millie has electronic channel locks, and there's like more things. It has a panel.
It also might have a bobbin sensor.
It may have a bobbin sensor, in it too as well to let it run out. Now the Millie, the 30, which is the top of the line, because there's two Millies, it has a 30-inch throat, and it has all the bells and whistles.
There's a Millie that's a 26-inch throat, which is the same size as the Lucy. And then there's a Millie that's a 30-inch throat.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you can afford that kind of thing, go for it.
I mean, when we looked at units, when we looked at the machines, Lucy was on sale and was a pretty good price at the time. And Millie was significantly more expensive. So that's why we ended up getting a Lucy. Yeah. But you've been happy with the Lucy.
Oh, yeah. Lucy and I have been having good days. Yeah, with it. And of course, I have the computerized system on it too, which I have to. In my plan for next year is I'm going to make a conscious effort to try to do customizing using the computer. Right now, I do pretty much edge to edge. But, it's kind of a little underkill for what the Quilt Path program can do. And I've taken some courses and the whole bit, but there's so much. It's just, if you don't do it on a regular basis, I'm comfortable right now with setting up the machine, doing edge-to-edge quilting and all that kind of stuff. And I'm comfortable with, like, if my bobbin runs out halfway through a row, I know how to get everything lined up without any problem and the whole bit and carry on with it. That used to be a scary point when I first got the machine. I would At the end of every row it went across, I'd stop the machine and I'd look at the bobbin to see how much thread I had left, because I didn't want to stop in the middle because I thought I'd never get it lined up. Now I don't care. I do it now. But that comes with experience, you know. Jean says, I loaned it to my cousin and she brought it back and the automatic threader was not working. I took it to a local dealer and he fixed it. We tried to Wow. He saw you coming, hun.
Well,
Yeah.
now, mind you, it depends on what else he did to the machine.
Well, I'm going by what she said.
Yeah, okay.
Can you read?
Yeah, okay. If it's just the automatic threader, yeah.
Sometimes you read too much into things.
Yeah, okay.
That's my job. Subtext. But it said, she says, it took it to a local dealer. He fixed it. She said her automatic threader was not working. She didn't say anything else was wrong with it. So based on what is written there, and he charged her $250 for it, he overcharged her.
Yeah.
Because we've had our automatic threaders fixed before. And I've had a whole new automatic threader put in, and they put it in. It did not cost me $250 for it. Also, I can fix them myself if I need to. I can't, and I know you would love for me to show you how to do it, and I can't, because I would need a micro lens on a camera to really show you, because it's so fine a thing, and it's by feel with a screwdriver, and it's basically bending a wire, the little wire that goes through the needle. Why do needle threaders not work? Because the little wire that goes into the eye of the needle and pops back out and grabs the thread when it's coming through, when it's set up, gets bent and it can't get in the eye. And you're talking, you know, a little space. The other reason why needle threaders break is because you tried to put too thick a thread to too fine a hole in the needle. Your manual will tell you exactly what weight of thread and needle sizes you can use with the automatic needle threader. If you try anything else from that, you are probably going to wreck the needle threader. And all it is this little wire. That's all it is on it for that. That's the most common thing. How do I know? How many did I go through on the 15,000? And, well, part of that wasn't because I was using the wrong thread with it. It was other factors that all fit into, see the videos on the 15,000. But I did find a video on YouTube somewhere, can't tell you who it was now, some guy in England, it's really old video, and he was showing how to fix an automatic threader, and he used a screwdriver, and he got in there, and I did the same thing, and I have fixed it on all my machines, actually, without too much of a problem. I think I fixed it on yours too, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. So, see? I'm just another pretty face. I can do things. Not just him. He didn't know how to do it. I did. Me. Notice he's keeping his mouth shut, because usually this is when you say, well, you were an idiot and you should have done this. Can't say that right now, can you? And if I remember correctly, the reason your threader didn't work is because you did something idiotic.
No, my threader didn't work because you you screwed it up.
I did not. I did not.
Yeah, I was on loan to you when you had to fix it.
I don't know if that's true. I don't remember it that way at all. I have a much rosier picture in my mind, and that's the one I believe in. Okay. Amy says, Debbie says, Amy from APQS was amazing, helped me with repair work on the Lenny I had. I never want to ship my machine out for repairs. I learned it was comfortable doing my own. They are very good on APQS. When you call them and anything, they will walk you through all kinds of things. And that's the one thing about a long arm. Most of the time, you don't have a dealer really close to you that can come out to your house to look at your problem. And if you have to try and ship your long arm, I mean, you wouldn't be shipping your base. You'd be shipping the, I don't know what you call it, the needle head, the sewing machine part, basically. And that's going to cost you. We're lucky again. We have a local dealer that's for APQS where we bought our machine, and she is absolutely excellent. And she'll come to your doorstep and come into your house and look at your machine. And she'll even do it by a video. You send her a video, she'll go live with you on a FaceTime call or whatever and walk you through what you should do. She's very, very good, very knowledgeable. And that's Tracy at Whirls and Swirls. If you live in my area, check her out, check her videos. Great. If you got a long arm, doesn't matter what brand of long arm you have, check her videos out if you want to learn about free motion quilting. She's an expert. She's got tons of videos on YouTube. Whirls and the letter N, Swirls. Yeah.
And it's Tracy Russell.
And her name is Tracy Russell. She's excellent. Just absolutely excellent. CS Marsh is here. That's Cheryl. Better late than never. Got a lot done during pop-up. That's good. I'm glad you did, Cheryl. Retired from 28 years in middle school. Still cannot spell. Hey, welcome to the club. I never could. And I was an English teacher. Deb said, had 3 different men from sewing stores BS me on machine repairs. Made me so mad when I figured out the problems on my machines and them trying to stiff me on repairs. Yeah, again, buyer beware, you know. Well, it's like buying a car, anything, you know, there's just too many scammers out there. You know, we complain about the scammers that call us up on the phone trying to clean our ducks and that from foreign countries. Well, we have our fair share of scammers in here. They're called salespeople. Yeah. Yes, Betty, we figured that one out. Thanks again. We figured that out about, 12 conversations ago. But anyways, so, Christmas boxes. All right. Everybody's doing a Christmas box right now, but we had some comments that I want to share with you about our opening of Christmas boxes, like Stephanie's and mine. And some other things about, because if you saw the So Chatty, we opened a Christmas bag, the Santa sack. It's not an Advent one, you know, one different one for every day. You get like 15 things all in one bag and you can open them all at once. They're not numbered or anything. And we did that. And when this year, I was a little less excited when I finished opening that one up than I was from the year before. Not going to make me stop buying it. I'm going to buy it again next year. This is the one from Quilter Quilting. And we'll see how that goes then. I mean, it wasn't a complete letdown, but I guess if I hadn't had the one the year before, which I was more excited about, I wouldn't have anything to compare it to, and I'd be very, very happy. But that doesn't mean to say that, and I hope I didn't come across on So Chatty that I was being negative about it. My problem is I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I'm a collector of all kinds of tools and things. And so like, yeah, got it. And okay, you know, you can't please everybody with everything you put in one of those bags. If I had been a beginner quilter, though, I would have been thrilled. Absolutely thrilled with everything. But this is what people are saying about the gift boxes and bags and everything. Hillary Kennedy says, I'm thinking that these gift boxes / bags are increasingly tricky for quilters who have been at it for a while. We all have our favorite tools and prefer to choose our own fabric. And that's exactly what I'm saying as well. But you know, I don't buy them for what's necessarily in the bag. I buy them for the excitement, because it's a lot of fun for that. And you know, we're older people. Most people that are doing quilting are older people, right? How many Christmas gifts do you get at Christmas time, or even give? Because all of us are at that stage in our lives where we have it, you know? And if we don't have it and we really want it, we'll probably go out and buy it. So like Walter and I are not giving each other Christmas gifts this year. In fact, we're not giving anybody anything really. Because we're Scrooges. No, because I can't figure out what to get him. He can't figure what out to get me. And actually, my family, everybody's older. We don't have little kids running around anymore. If there were little kids, yes, we'd be buying for little kids and stuff like that. But everybody's an adult. Everybody buys their own thing and whatnot. So, you know, we don't worry about it too much anymore. Val wrote, I would think that maybe if they included more fabric or a small kit of some sort would make it more exciting. I'm like you, we old-time sewers have lots of notions and don't need more. The bag they made is adorable. They're talking about the Quilter Quilting. They put theirs in a bag. those cleaning sticks work good for cleaning out around the bobbin area. And if for any of you that saw the video, you know I was not too impressed with these little tiny, like miniature Q-tips kind of a thing for cleaning out your sewing machine. But apparently, I'm going to have to try them because I've had a number of people say they absolutely love them for that. And somebody did say to me they're great for cleaning out the ridges in your feet, in your feed dogs, which I had not thought of. I mean, I clean my machine all the time. I just cleaned it all yesterday. Again, and I use makeup brushes in there, and I have air, and it's not canned air, so don't anybody start saying, oh, you should never use canned air because there's moisture in it, it'll make things rust. Oh, don't do it. I bought a thing that shoots air. Looks like a hair dryer, but it's not hot, and there's no moisture in it. So, yeah. I think what's this one do? Oh, bat. No. I think it's 2 fingers up. But anyways, so yeah. But I gave them to Walter because he likes them. You like them. You said,
I haven't used them yet.
But you said when I got them in there,
I think they would be handy.
Oh, but you had not based that on actual experience. No. Oh, okay. We'll wait and see how he likes them. Laura wrote, I think the table runner turned out quite nice. I wasn't sure when I saw the pattern, but the one you made is beautiful. As for the Santa sack, it might be nice if they had a selection of Santa sacks available. For example, maybe they should offer a beginner, advanced, and experienced quilter sewer option. Some of the items you receive would be wonderful if you were just starting out, but they might want to offer more advanced patterns, unique rulers, or templates for advanced quilters for a bit of a challenge. There are new products coming out all the time that could have been included. Just my humble opinion. I get the point that's being made here, but now if I play devil's advocate and look at it from the standpoint of view of a store owner, they're not going to create different tiers of bags.
It's hard enough for them to put one bag together, let alone different tiers. And you're assuming that, he paid $140 for the bag.
No, I paid $160.
Okay, $160 for the bag. Okay, so $20. I'm off by 20. Okay, so there's only so many items that you can put in for 160. Like, think about it. Like, there's a lot of stuff is expensive in the quilting world.
Well, they're a business.
Yeah.
They got to make something. I don't imagine they were making a whole heck of a lot of money on this. And I don't think they necessarily do them for that reason. I think they do them because it's good advertising for their store. It gets people coming into their store possibly as well. And, that it's a promotional kind of thing to, for future sales of stuff. It would be nice if they could order, like, maybe you could pre-order a bag and they have a checklist saying that, but then that's going to take manpower. And, like I've said, I shouldn't compare what Kawartha Quilting, which is a small local store, to Missouri Star Quilt, because there is no comparison. Missouri Star Quilt has employees, like several hundred employees. I think I heard they employ over 300 people in their various aspects of, they took over a town, basically. And they have people that are probably pretty much their job is dedicated. They're probably already started on next year's Christmas box because they're going out, they're searching out items, they're finding out what it's going to cost. And they made over 30,000 boxes. So they can buy things for a much lower price because they're buying bulk, big bulk. So you can't compare what Missouri Star Quilt does to a small mom and pop shop at all. And I wasn't comparing the two of them with it. Also, it cost me double what it cost me from Kawartha Quilting as well. So, I have expectations when I spend that kind of money. But even they don't offer boxes at different levels. Be nice. You could go and say, yes, I'm an experienced quilter. I want the experienced quilter box, please. Thank you very much. And yes, there are new products coming out all the time, but new products cost more money than older products too. So I get it in what they're doing. They have a fine line to balance, between giving something that the customer is going to be excited about, but at the same time keeping their costs down and appealing to a wide variety of expertise. No easy solution to any of that. Kim wrote, I love the table runner. The pink is unexpectedly great in there. Try a 3-yard quilt for a palette cleanser project. You might like them more than you think. I love them for large scale prints, especially when you need a big block to not chop up a print, and you can finish a 3-yard quilt top in a few hours. Great for gifting and charity quilts. Okay, so that was comment was based upon that there was a pattern book in there, 3-yard quilts, and I have never done a 3-yard quilt, and I looked at the patterns, and my first reaction was, yeah. But then I got thinking about it after the fact. Well, there's ideas there, though. You don't necessarily have to make that quilt. You could take elements from it to put into a quilt. So, it's a good resource. So when you look at something like that, it's not just a one-off. It's something that inspires. So there's value in that, I think. I don't buy boxes or subscriptions as I'm very picky and want to get exactly what I want and no duplicate notions. I'm on a budget and none of the boxes I see open would have thrilled me. So that's true. I got some of the things I got in both boxes were duplicates. They're things I already had, but they can't read my mind. They don't know what I've got. Landa wrote, the mat would be good. There was a little cutting mat in the Quarth one. Mat would be good for paper piecing, trimming, and square up of smaller blocks. The cleaners work well in cleaning out your machine hook or your PC keyboard. Yeah, never thought of that. PC keyboard for those little pick things that were in there that I was talking about earlier. My favorites were the glide thread and the Santa sack. The Santa sack was nice because they took time to make those and to embroider them. And we just talked about embroidery and how long it takes for the kind of thing. So yeah, I did appreciate the time and effort they put into that. Another person wrote, who is this person? Barb said, the table runner and the heat pad are lovely. Too bad the points are cut off for both projects. The pattern should have included a border. Yeah, I talked about that. So she's not being critical to me. I had mentioned that's how it worked out. It needed another border, a thin border around it so that the binding wouldn't cut off the points. But that wasn't in the pattern. And I stuck to the pattern for that particular project. Should have thought about that a little bit more. But anyways, I still like it. I think it looks great. As far as the Santa sack, it should be advertised as a quilting sack for beginner quilters. I didn't see the value in what you paid versus what they said it was worth versus what was in the sack. Many of us are in the age group where throughout the year we could purchase small items, wrap them up and put them in a box at Christmas to open because we forgot we bought them. That's kind of funny. Yeah. Buy your own. Create your own Christmas box. It'll be a surprise because you didn't remember. That would happen to me. And she says, Stephen, you're funny that your favorite item was the light on a stick. We do have flashlights on our phones. Yeah, I know, but they're not as much fun as that one. I love that. I thought that was a great, and that was something that was a promotional item, I think, because it had their name on it and everything. And I wrote to them to see if I could buy another one, and I haven't heard back from them. So I don't know. They might be pissed off with me because I didn't say all the nicest things I should have said maybe in their mind about their Santa sack. I may not be able to show my face in that store again. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not really joking either. Well, anyways. So we're going over our time here. Just let's finish up on some of these comments and then we can let people go. See, other people here like the little brushes too. Did you know feed dog teeth wear down? I replaced feed dogs once on a Janome I had. Hubby used calipers to compare the difference. The old set of feed dog teeth were not as sharp as the new set. Well, I could see that. I've actually had some of my feed dogs replaced, but that wasn't because they wore down. Because I did something bad. It involved a needle crash, wrong plate, or wasn't good. No, P Spellmaker is here. Pamela's here. Missouri Star Quilt Company sold 30,000 boxes at $179 $5.3
million.
million. Yeah. My box cost more because that's 179 US. I paid Canadian. It was about 310 Canadian dollars. Oh, Brenda was here. Hi, Brenda. So anyways, great. Thanks for being with us. I still didn't get to other things that I had on my list, so I'll save those for next week. And yeah, I hope you guys are getting everything set up for Christmas and whatnot, and it's not too stressful for you. That was one of the things we we're going to talk about. Stress at Christmas. We'll save that for next week. Right now, I'm just a little too stressed to talk about it. So, anything you'd like to say? Parting words of wisdom from Walter, besides facial expressions when I open my mouth that people seem to love at my expense. But whatever. Okay. Have a great week. Maybe see some of you on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen on Wednesday. And yeah, and all the other usual things that happen during the week. Okay. Have a good one.
Yep.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.